I am Adam Sowers, your game master and host, and with me is a bunch of folks that are on a mystery currently to discover weird, spooky things. Please introduce yourselves, you mysterious people. You.
I'm Caleb James Miller, and I'm playing Dull Ozon. And I do not have anything catchy to say this week.
Ah.
I'm VJ Stonecroft. I play Theo, and I find bone puns very humorous.
Aha.
I'm Sarah L. Kinney. I will be playing Winnie Chandler, and I still have a ball of ooze.
And I am Carrie Smith. I am playing Vetra, and I also don't have anything clever to say.
These clever people, they're just tricking you. They always have clever things to say. But now let's go into the adventure. You smell lamp oil. You feel the cold night air. You hear a nearby carriage going by on the cobblestone streets of the city. And as you open your eyes, you see a lamp, a street lamp illuminating the night city streets in the city of Daramede. You can see the cobblestone streets. You see that this is more of like a civic area, so a lot of the people have gone home by now because it is late in the evening. And rounding a corner, you see a city guard, a Daramede city guard by the name of Dylan, who is definitely a big himbo boy. He's thick in the head. Rounding the corner, just like gesturing behind him for people to follow him. And rounding the corner, we see our four heroes following Dylan. This is about an hour after everyone has left the morgue. And you hear Dylan be like, "All right, yeah, it's just right around this way. I think it's just, I think it's up this street. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, something fell off my helmet. I think it's just around this corner. I swear, I think it's this street. Right this way. And could you all please introduce and describe your characters and tell us, how they are feeling right now?"
Well, I'm Dull Ozon, a half orc individual, about 6'5". He right now is feeling very perturbed to have to follow Dylan further into the city. He enjoys Dylan, but he can't stand how dumb this individual can be. Dull carries himself well. He dresses well, and it's clear that he prepares for every situation he's going to find himself in. He's just found recently that there's not much you can prepare when you don't know what's on the other side. So he's itching to get a solution to this mystery.
Alongside Dull is not exactly short, but perhaps short for a half-elf young woman. She's dressed in shades of black and gray, a little bit understated, but you do see that she kind of always has a protective hand over this strange bag that she keeps on her belt at her side. And where her hair had once been half black, half white, you actually see now her hair is kind of turned a very stark white all over, and she only has just a little bit of black left in her hair. And she looks frightened, but perhaps determined.
A few paces behind is Winnie Chandler, a woman in her mid-20s, about 5'6", with a strong athletic build and clad from head to toe in absolutely beautiful armor made out of multicolored dragon scales. And as she walks, her gaze is distant. There is a lot on her mind. And in particular, she keeps thinking about this ball of ooze attached to her hip, which we just found out is maybe a dragon's egg. And, well, that's not so great.
And at the back of the group, kind of a good, probably 2 or 3 people's worth of paces behind, just keeping an eye on the group as we're walking forward, is Vetra. She is also human woman, mid-20s, and kind of paler skin, but covered in various Viking-like markings, very like Nordic markings all over, which maybe could have been confused for tattoos before, but now are definitely like it's painted on. You can see the sweat has kind of made some of it kind of run down her face and down her arms. She has a sword and shield, and the shield is on her arm currently, but her sword is sheathed as she's walking. Kind of like dirtied blonde hair in various braids that's kind of pulled back right now to keep it battle ready, so to speak. And that is Vetra.
And we see Dylan kind of turns around. He's like, "Yeah, I think it's just like right out this way. Just a few blocks more."
Dylan, you have said that for the last 4 blocks.
Well, I mean, it's just like it's hard because like there's only an entrance on one side of the gate, and it's hard to remember if it's like the north side or the east side. But I mean, we went on all the other ones, so I'm pretty sure it's this side. So I think it's just right down here. What do you guys think about all that stuff? You talking about like the bones and the things and the creatures and whatnot. Is it like the kidnappings and things like what's going on?
Please don't be offended when I tell you, Dylan, that I don't think anybody's going to be trying to kidnap you.
Oh no! It's not that I'm like worried about myself. I'm just curious. Not really much happens around here besides like a parade or something. So, excitement. So like, I don't know. Like, it sounds really interesting. So.
Well, there's still a lot up in the air, Dylan, that we're trying to figure out for ourselves. So, as soon as we have an answer, you'll have an answer.
Think you guys need like help or anything? Like, I can come back tomorrow, like in the morning. If you guys, I mean, need like an escort or something, someone who's a friend of the people,
You know
something
what?
like that.
You know what? If you could come by where was Vigo staying? And when he kind of looks at the group, like trying to remember where Vigo's staying currently.
It was the tavern at the
Tower.
center of town where it all started.
Is
And
it-
I, of course,
Rusty
know
Bell?
the name.
Rusty
Yes,
Bell?
the Rusty Bell.
Rusty Bell.
Yeah, if you know what, if you could show up at the Rusty Bell tomorrow and ask for Vigo and kind of let him know you're looking for us, I think that'd be great. We can let you know if we need anything. And if we're not there, you can just talk to Vigo.
Right,
listen-
sounds good. Rusty Bell. That's I don't think I've ever gone over there. That's like in that one dish. All right, I can go over there.
Dylan, I think you need to take this a lot more serious than we're intimating here.
Oh no!
It
I
is
take
very
things
important.
very seriously. You tell me.
Incredibly important that you do not let Vigo out of your sight.
Right.
Even if he protests, even if he denies everything, if he tells you to get lost,
I'll
you stay
I'll
right
just,
by
like,
his side.
put him down. Just like plant him in a chair or something.
Good man.
One
Good man.
question though. Who's Vigo?
You can't miss him. Gray complexion, small little
Right.
deviled horns,
Cool. Right.
hero of the people, wielder of one of the greatest blades ever known to man, killer of
Oh,
dragons. You'll notice him.
Right. Oh, he's the one that got the Blackthorn, right?
You've got it.
Right. You all know that the Blackthorn is this like famous sword that apparently Vigo has, because like all of the heroes of the Great War have a like magical item type thing, and like that's his. And also, I don't know if this was you just trying to lie to Dylan, but Vigo is staying at the tower. But I just want okay, cool. Just wanted to double check. Cool.
We would have told him the tower then.
Okay. Wait, no. Did you want to have him go to the tower, or did you want to have him go to that other place where you did the investigation of the dead person?
Something. As much as I would like to say hi to Vigo right now, I don't think sending this guy to Vigo, I don't think that would make him very happy.
I mean, that was kind of the point, but I guess.
That's
all
why
right.
I was going to do it. I wanted to annoy Vigo.
I thought you wanted me to, like, protect him of something.
I do. I do.
Metro just yells, "Are we there yet?"
Oh, right. And
Yeah,
you
that's
see him. You see he points across the street, and you see the problem is that there's this really big tract of land in the middle of the city that has this really high wrought iron fence that goes around it, and then a really high like hedge that goes around it on the inside as well. But you can see, like, if you're back far enough, you can see like the top of the hero's tower, and it seems to be in the middle of that section. But like Dylan said, there's only one entrance. So now you see it. He's kind of pointing across the cobblestone street as like a carriage goes by. That there's this opening. Of the big gate, and there's like two marble or like big stone statues, kind of like Roman Greek-esque, where they're like kind of naked, but they have like little towel in like certain spots, and they're holding spears and like helmets and stuff near the entrance. And the gate is open, but there's like seems to be a hedge maze in between the entrance and getting to the hero's tower, which actually looks like a castle, but it has like three towers that are close together that makes it look like one tower. So yeah, he points across the street and shows you that. He's like, there it is! A genuine hero's tower. Never been in there myself, but seems pretty nice. I mean, got a nice garden and everything. So, there you are! Are you guys, do you want me to come here? Do you want me to go to that tavern tomorrow?
Why don't you come back here tomorrow?
Right here? Alright, and you want me to watch the grey guy?
You better call him Vigo if you want to.
Vigo, right. Oh, right, he's a hero, he's got a sword. God blimey. I'd make a right ass of myself if I came in here looking for some little grey guy.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, right. Well, have fun finding a murderer. And then he just sort of like salutes and walks off into the night.
I like him.
Yeah, he's enjoyable.
And Winnie will just start heel toeing it through the maze to get to the tower.
Cool. As you approach the entrance, you see the stone statues sort of animate, and you see the spears that both of them are holding goes down in front of you before you can cross the threshold. And one of the statues sort of turns. He's like, "You cannot pass! State your name and your business." And the other statue's like, "Yeah! Let me handle this."
You're kidding me, right? With this shit?
Kidding? The guardians of the hero's tower do not kid.
I swear, this last time they let David set up the statues for the tower or whatever. Here, look at this. We're good. And Winnie will chained or clasped around her waist on a chain is a medallion with the symbol of the Knights of Nemeria on it. And she'll unclasp it and then hold it up so that the statues can see.
Ah, so you all claim to be Knights of Nemeria. It is easy to just say a name or say a title, but what is more difficult is a secret. You must tell us all a secret that you have, and the magic that enchants these marble statues will let you pass, if the secret is true. And don't worry about us, like, remembering the secret, you know, we got, like, magic that, like, makes us forget and stuff. So, yeah, so let's tell us the secret. Pass, pretty much. I will handle this.
They're just giddy little gossips, aren't they?
Ah, we do not gossip.
This probably has nothing to do with the tower. You just like a little secret. You like a little information, huh?
No. This is. We are magically enchanted to protect the hero's tower. Yes, correct. And this is the way that we use to determine if you are who you say you are.
Any secret at all?
Yeah, not just like I burned my toast and I didn't tell anyone. Yeah, it should be like something like deep, like something like personal to you.
And that's supposed to prove that we're Knights of Nemeria.
I mean, to prove who you say you are. Right now, I don't know any of your names. Perhaps start with your names and a secret, and we'll let you go one at a time. Unless you like to just, run through mazes or...
Wait, could we solve the maze instead of telling you secrets?
No.
Great.
That would almost
What
be
is-
preferable at this point.
Dole, you've got a silver tongue. Surely you must know a lot of secrets.
I know plenty. Most of them are not mine, though.
Who are you?
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm
Sorry.
K.o.N. I am a Fang of the Fox, and my...
He leans forward.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to say it out. You can just tell it to me. If you if you want all of your friends to know, that's fine.
Sure.
If you
Yeah,
want
I'll get up close and whisper
Okay.
into his ear then,
to- okay.
not letting the others hear it.
All right. What do you say?
My mother is Helene, the woman who betrayed King K.o.N. and stole magic for the Fox.
Very good secret. He leans back. You may pass.
All right.
And he raises his spear just for you.
Well, it was a pleasure, all of you. I'll see you in a few hours. He starts walking in.
Anyone else?
I have no secrets. I'm not very good at keeping them.
Well, that's kind of a bummer. I could think of something.
Are you obligated to keep the secret?
Yeah, we Alentius didn't really tell you. But I mean, basically, the magic that enchants us to know if the secrets are true. Once we're told, it's just like a confirming thing, and then we forget.
All right, then I'll whisper my secret too. And Dole, just in case, will you cover your ears, please?
Sure.
And Theo leans in very close and whispers, my name is Theophania. I think my friends call me Theo. I think they are my friends. And my secret is that I kind of have a thing for Vigo. I know I hide it really well.
Ooh, juicy. And the statue backs up, and then Lefinius, the other statue's like, oh, I didn't hear it. And he just kind of whispers to him. And they're like, ooh, yes, you may pass. And they raise the spear, and they're like, what were we? No. Anyways, next person.
All right, fine. And Winnie will lean up and whisper very softly into the statue's ear. My name is Winnie Chandler, and I'm not allowed to go home.
But why is that?
A lot of people got hurt, and I'm responsible for it.
Sort of leans back. You may pass. And the other statue's like, jeez. And they let you pass, and then now it is only Vetra on the other side.
I think as Winnie goes through, you just hear my sword being drawn.
Oh no.
And I'm just like, so how does this work if I don't have a secret?
Well, we are the guardians of the tower. And you see one of their feet come off of this stone tablet, come down. So if you insist, and the other one comes off, boom, and they come down.
Vetra just looks up one, down, looks over, looks up at the other one, thinks about how tired she is from the day, and is like, all right, listen.
You definitely feel like you could take them. But it's like, but is it worth the time?
Right, like, I don't know, I'm tired.
You can see Winnie's actually like has a spell readied and is on the other side.
Don't tempt
and
me.
he's just with excitement looking at Vetra with the I'll back you up eyes.
So, yeah, kind of catching Winnie's eyes, Vetra will just whisper only soft enough for these figures to hear. I'm jealous that Winnie knows my father. And then without waiting for approval, I just walk through.
Yeah, they. It looks like they're still kind of like waiting to decide, but you start to walk and they don't stop you and like, all right. And they're like, and then they're just kind of thinking, and then they sort of a blank expression goes on their faces, and then you see them kind of mechanically go back into their spots and return to the statue position and freeze. And as you all reach the other side of this gate, you see like a great wind looks like it goes over the maze, and these hedges are kind of blowing together, and you see them start to move, and then they just rush, and then it stops, and there's a clear path through the hedge maze all the way to the front of the castle, ready for you all to walk down it. And as you cross through this hedge maze, you arrive at the, I guess, Hero's Tower in the middle of the city of Daramid. And you see that the front doors are wide open. It's a very, very big place. And it has sort of like Romanesque / Gothic designs. It's very open and also very empty. As you enter in, you kind of don't really see anyone. It seems like a pretty empty place, but it's well lit. It's well furnished, a very open reception area. And you hear someone kind of like coming around one of the corners and be like, yes, well, it seems our guests have arrived. Hello. And something comes floating around the corner, and you see, it looks like a small sphere, a small ball that has one eye, a mouth, and a bunch of little eye stalks coming off of it, and it's like orangish gold colored. It is like a mini beholder for the players, but for the characters, you've probably never seen anything like this before, and it like floats around the corner like, yes, hello, welcome. I knew that our guests were going to be arriving. Hello, I am Keeper Ruzavar. Wonderful to meet you all. Yes.
A pleasure. Is Tom in?
Tom? Yes, you mean Tomrith Eldor Ivaris Jean Abacus, first wizard of the Academy, keeper of the secret flame, and inventor of the counting machine? Tom?
Yes, Tom.
Shit, I was hoping he'd be out, but yeah, that one.
Yes, no, he is not here. Yes, he did create me, so could be of some assistance if you require. I was told by Mr. Tormont to expect guests, so I'm ready to assist. If need be, we have plenty of beds, plenty of research spaces. I can show you to the library. I know you are on a very important quest. It is what he had told me, and you all seem to be, yes, adventurers ready to go. See, his many eyes are going all over the place, looking you all up and down, and he's kind of like looking each of you up and down, and then he kind of stops on Dole, and he's like, yes, you, Mr. Ozon, you need to wear this. And one of his eyes has like a little beam, and then a little magical little gold collar appears, and he's like, if you are to stay in the premises, you are to wear this collar at all times.
What?
We know your mother.
So you want to collar him?
Well, you see, this is it's completely harmless device. You see, this device is to make sure he doesn't accidentally steal anything like his mother did. So, if you want to just wear this on the premises, it will disappear when you leave the premises.
I'll wear the damn call. Okay.
All right, excellent, excellent. And it like clicks, and you see like a little eye sort of like pop up on the little collar, and it's kind of like looking around. He says, wonderful. Everything is in order then. What do you require? I am at your service. There's not it is basically just us and the VIPs with Vigo inside of the tower currently. So, is there anything that you require? Research, beds, items, anything at all?
I could really use a blanket and a pillow. I'm not that tired. I'm not that hurt. I could really use a little bit of a power nap. That's all. But a blanket and a pillow would be great.
I can show you to your quarters if you wish.
That would be wonderful.
Excellent. And you see Aruzavar sort of like floats up and wiggles, and he's like, right this way. And he sort of floats and takes escorts the group through this castle slash tower. And you see there's many statues through this place that kind of look like beasts and other heroes that you might recognize. And goes through this castle and shows you to your quarters. It's just like a long hallway that has wooden doors that are open, and he just kind of says like each of your rooms are there, and just kind of waits at the end of the hallway to be like, if you need anything else, let me know and I'd be happy to assist.
Which way is the library?
I can show you right to it.
And on the way, does this tower have elemental chambers, incineration room, poison vat, lightning conductor?
Yes, we do have a couple. Some of them are a little bit out of order, but there are a couple that are still in use. One of them is full of some rather nasty-looking chickens. And you see one of the doors opens, and you see these weird, sort of featherless chickens. He's like, we call them abyssal chickens. I don't want to go in there. And he just sort of looks one of his eyes over in the door, as you hear about a bunch of like coming from the other side of the door. That one's broken, but we have plenty more.
Great. If on the way, if you could point out the different chambers, that'd be great. I'll be needing those.
Of course, right away. Everyone else?
Yeah, I'm just looking at everybody. Like, Vetra's goal is just to keep an eye on people. So it's kind of just judging, okay, who should I be following right now? So Vetra's just kind of waiting.
Theo will is it like a barracks, the rooms where quarters are, or is it like more of a formal quarters, like a bedroom sort of a
I would say it's probably
situation?
more formal, like bedrooms type stuff, because they have like nice people stay here.
Okay. In that case, Theo finds the biggest, comfiest looking bed and just kind of walks to it, takes the bag of bones, like drops it on the bed beside her, and just falls over like face first, just on the bed.
Boom. You fall on the bed. It is very comfy. And I would assume probably Aruzavar sees that and kind of just one of his eyes turns and then the door shuts.
Theo snores very loudly.
Ruzavar, this collar isn't going to stop me from performing any of my tasks, is it?
No. It's just make sure that you don't have any sticky fingers on the premises.
Right. And I'm sure Tom is the one that put this all together.
Yes, the leadership of the Heroes of the Great War did, this is a precaution. Yes. It seems not that many people forget or forgive that easily when precious materials are stolen.
Oh, they forget plenty. Well, in that case, I'm ready to assist, Miss Chandler, whatever it is we're doing here. This is not exactly my area of expertise, despite what many people would collar me for. So I'm here to help.
Well, wonderful. I will show you to the library. And I'll say that he kind of goes through parts of the castle, like up some stairs, down some stairs, and goes into a very big open library. It's kind of like circular, really big shelves that go up like at least a couple of floors. There's like really long ladders, kind of like Beauty and the Beast style library. There's also some like just kind of floating books kind of going from shelf to shelf, and some of the inanimate objects in here are animated. You like move towards a desk to maybe get a book, and the desk sort of like kind of moves itself out of the way so you can get the book, and a little candelabra just bump 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 jumps over so that you can see a little bit better. And I would say maybe an elemental chamber. Maybe there's just like maybe it's just like a closet or something like that that has like a dial with some runes on it or something that you can like rotate or something to use. But that's just like right next to the library, basically. But yeah, he shows you in there. I'm assuming that's Winnie, Dull, and Vetra. I'm assuming.
How do y'all feel about skimming through books?
Sure.
Help.
All right, so Deep Stalkers, and Winnie starts moving through the library. She puts on a bit of a brave face, but for all of her book smarts rather, libraries are not places she's actually spent a lot of time, but she understands how they're structured. And so she's kind of trying to look at the categorizations and try to just very quickly piece together, kind of put on a show of knowing what she's doing and try to figure out where to point people to find various bits of information. Mm-hmm. We benefit from learning more about Deep Stalkers, the creature that may or may not be Pete, kind of, we don't know yet. I wonder if, and then Winnie kind of turns around and is looking at headers. They might also have a roster of people who fought in the war here. That could also be beneficial. We could kind of look through records and kind of see who's registered kind of within the town. Those tend to be a crapshoot, though. Really depends on how good the record keeping is. What else? We could. I don't know how worth it is. We could look up more about Southmaw. I'm sure Tom's got something, maybe a journal or something about more like firsthand accounts sort of what happened. But I think Theo put us in a pretty good spot.
Right.
So how about each of you, if you're doing some research, tell me the thing, the clue, the item or whatever that you're trying to do some research on, and then we'll do some rolls.
Vetra will just look for whatever she is told to look for. So whichever one I am assigned.
I think I'm going to look into this key, if that's all right, Winnie. That's where I want to start.
Please,
You're the leader.
We're all equals here, please. I just the key, that's smart. Vetra, maybe Deep Stalkers,
yeah,
and maybe the veterans roster. I think.
Good thinking, team captain.
I'm gonna go. Right. I'm gonna look at this thing, and Winnie is looking at that dragon egg.
Cool. All right, yeah, so everyone give me, I guess, like one roll at a time.
I'm going to call up Ozu, the beholder, whatever his name was.
Aruzavar, yes. So Aruzavar comes in. Is there anything I can help you with?
Yes, I figured you're going to be watching me when I do everything in here anyways.
Correct.
Which I'm sure you're going to act as though you weren't in the other room, just peering through this thing right now, right?
Yes, well, privacy. It is an illusion.
Right. I figure if you're going to invade my life, I might as well use you.
Sure.
I found this, and I'll take out the key. I'll show it to him. In the city, And you being a servant of Tom's, you know just about everything that Tom does, except the things he keeps from you. Do you ever wonder what that is? What Tom keeps from you?
Oh, of course, he doesn't keep any secrets from me. I am
course not.
what a keeper of one of his towers.
Right. So
No
you
secrets.
know everything that he does.
Ah,
There's
of
no
course.
exception. Good. With all of Tom's knowledge, then, you should be able to tell me what this is and what it does. You're a better researcher than I. I'm hoping you can help me look into this.
I would be glad to, of course. So give me some sort of roll with advantage.
Okay. What kind of role are you thinking this is?
I mean, like, you were kind of convincing him to do the research, so you could use a social skill if you want, or you could use an intelligence thing to assist, or a perception or something like that.
You know what? I'll use history to give you a break from having to see me succeed. But with advantage, right?
Yes.
Ooh, the first is a 5, which I don't like. So the second was much better with a 22. 22 total.
Okay, yeah. So you see Aruzavar. Describe to me how you are helping Aruzavar. Are you just like sitting with your feet up on a desk while he does everything?
Yeah, I really do think that he sort of sat himself on the like writing desks that sort of rim the room there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got his arms crossed and his legs up on a chair. And I picture Aruzavar like flying out to all of these different places in the library and bringing new pieces that then Dull will sit there and flip through and find the passages and everything. So it's this sort of process of Dull throwing the book over his shoulder when he realizes that's not the one, and then them moving on, and maybe it is the key getting set out on the writing desk next to it, and him and Aruzavar having this conversation over it, and we're writing little sticky notes against different parts of the pieces to sort of identify, well, this fits this description, but it doesn't fit that one, and there's this long conversation between the two on what works. I think Aruzavar is doing the most of the work, but Dull is playing supervisor and playing over his shoulder and pointing at things that he's noticing the whole way through.
And as you finish with this, you've noticed in a couple of those books and those sticky notes that kind of come together that Aruzavar has narrowed down. Ah, yes. So the thing about this key in particular is it's not a key in the traditional sense, as in unlocking a door or something like that. You see, this is a key for a mechanism, but it is a mechanism that is it is not specific, if that makes sense. This is a general mechanism key for many different mechanisms. So that is what we have figured out. However, there are many different places in the city that use such a key for their mechanisms. And he lists them off. He says there is a church bell ringer at one of the churches. There is the clock tower that is yet to be built. There is the shipyard for shipyard repairs, and there is the lighthouse. Those are the locations that use this key, so it could have come from any of those places.
Of those 4, Aruzavar, which has the less foot traffic? Is it the clock tower?
Let's see. Well, the clock tower is in the middle of the city. I would say perhaps the lighthouse or the clock tower would probably. Well, I guess it depends on the day with the shipyard, because if there's not a repair going on, then there might be less traffic there. But, well, I mean, and not on Sunday with the church.
Okay. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
Yes, it's very difficult to understand, but those other places...
All eyes on me. I have a question.
Yes?
The clock tower.
Yes?
Who has access to the inside repairs? Just the construction team?
I think so.
And the repairs themselves, that tower portion, you describe it as a long vertical shaft, yes?
Yes. Same as the lighthouse.
I see. Okay. Well, you've done well. And I think he's going to pat him hard enough that
like,
Aruzavar
"Ooh."
sort of like bounces like basketball level.
He's like, no, no touching.
Oh,
uh,
I didn't know. Just
yes.
congratulating. You did good
You
work.
are the second person that has ever touched me. It is a very, very strange thing to. Anyone
Sounds
else
like
need
a
help?
lonely life, Aruzavar.
It is a fulfilling life. Many books. And then we cut over to the next person doing research. Let's go to Vetra. What did you want to roll, and what were you?
So while all of that was happening, Winnie probably notices that Vetra is actually very experienced in a library. Kind of going around and grabbing any books on deep stalkers or finding
Like
anything that maybe
monsters,
resembles them.
yeah.
And also looking for records of any veterans.
Okay. Give me some sort of role for that. And I would say, since you've been in types of libraries and stuff before, I would say you maybe get like a +2 or something.
Okay.
To whatever roll.
Well, that's a natural 20.
Ah.
+4 for investigation, +2.
Wow. Okay.
So, very casual looking, just kind of like skimming, grabbing books, and like I have a stack of maybe like 5 or 6 before I come over to the table and just plop them down, and then kind of spin the chair around the wrong way, sit down, and just start spreading all of the books out and flipping through them.
Just some cool barbarian teen going and looking at some books.
Yep.
So, and then a little candle bloop bloop pops up onto the desk to help you. Looking for the deep stalker, I would say you find a book that's like creatures below. Like recorded instances of creatures below. And actually, when you look in it, it's actually the medieval equivalent of like a 3-ring binder, where basically pages are put into it. And a lot of the entries have been put in by Krennic, the person that was arrested last episode, because he has a lot of knowledge on monsters. And I would say you go to the section with the Deep Stalker, and it is a creature from the Underdark, from below. It hangs out in caves and below, and the reason it has that weird bone popping thing so that it could spit through small crevices. It is a predator creature. It does not like sunlight, and it does not like silver. And I would say with that nat 20, there's a little kind of thread that kind of connects to the first episode when Mr. Cornhole attacked the monster with a candlestick, and you can kind of surmise that that candlestick might have been silver, because it still had that wound when you guys fought it in the pit. And you learn a little bit more about, like, I guess it's like its behaviors. Again, it's sort of rehashing the kind of where it likes to nest, and that's in those long shaft type places. And I would say, going off of that, perhaps Aruzavar finds you looking at that type of stuff, and he kind of lists off various places in the town that could match that description of those like long vertical areas that it could be nesting in. And he says the clock tower, the observatory tower, the lighthouse, and the heroes tower that you're in right now. He lists those off. The behavior of the deep stalkers is more like hunter prey type stuff, and the stuff that you've been seeing it do is very unusual. And its eggs do not match the description of that goopy orb that you guys have.
Nothing about like prey, um, like what type of prey it goes after usually, or
I would say it lists some things that like aren't like aren't things that are on the surface or things that you have seen in the city. So if it does, the normal prey that it does hunt is not would not be in this area, and you haven't seen anything that would make you believe that something like that would be here. With the looking for more stuff about the veterans and about Southmaw, honestly, it kind of reiterates what Winnie learned, because apparently she was there, or at least nearby, when all this stuff went down. But the people that were involved in it were the 13th Battalion. And it mentions... it actually, strangely enough, does not have a lot of information about what went down. It was basically heroes were there. It was the last battle. The city was destroyed. It's very vague.
and I'm assuming that having the two of them, like these, all of these books open at the same time, I'm assuming there's nothing that I can mush the two together with. Like, there's nothing that I'm like, oh, this is why the monster, like, this is why we're sending this after the veterans or anything like that. Like, nothing's really connecting there.
Yeah, it definitely does not make sense.
Gotcha.
Why it would be connected in any sort of way.
Yeah.
It seems like two completely different things. You have not found that connecting thread, if there is one, yet.
Yeah, I think you would just see Vetra getting more and more frustrated and like rubbing the little forehead crown as if like trying to get it to work, as she's just staring down at these books now, kind of having hit this dead end in a sense.
See, Aruzavar is kind of looking over your shoulder, and he says, yes, very difficult, very difficult. Is that a Tomarith original? And he's looking at your head band that you have.
She just looks up at him, looks over to Dul, like, why is he over here?
Sorry. Excuse me. I'll come back over and I'll kind of guide him without touching, because I've learned now.
Oh, did you require some more assistance? And he starts to float away.
Your newest job is to leave Vetra alone.
And he notices your little tattoo. He's like, yes, another Tomarith original. Very interesting. Did you know that all of the magical items, besides a few that are created by the Heroes of the Great War, was actually created by... And he just sort of trails off.
Vetra just mouths, thank you.
And then we cut over to Winnie Chandler. And what are you doing, Winnie Chandler?
She has grabbed a couple of thick tomes about dragons, and in particular, anything that we might have about their reproductive cycle, any notes that might have been taken on these creatures during kind of the Great War. And Winnie has smashed kind of the open button or open hatch button on the chamber that kind of connects to the library, and has entered this space with the egg. And what she is trying to do is learn more about this thing. She saw dragons during the war, but has never seen an egg. And for now has kind of placed it inside of this chamber with the dial that can kind of be set to different elements while kind of flipping through some books for initial information. 21 on investigation.
Okay, cool. So with looking up dragons, just like automatically right away, dragons lay eggs, like hard bird style, scaled eggs basically. So that right away tells you that ain't a dragon egg. But I would say you learn from like the tomes that you have, which is basically kind of like an account of the Great War, which ended like a year ago, and they kind of detail a little bit of the anatomy of the dragons. And basically they're like, you see that when they talk about the bones of the dragons, which is what you indeed have, is dragon bones that was at the morgue. They are very, very magic. They're like crazy, like magic, like conduits for like power, and they're really good at like storing or bouncing off or holding magic, because in the book they describe dragons as kind of like magic as a creature is what dragons kind of are. And they also describe that basically at the end of the war, they're like, oh yeah, we killed all the dragons. They're extinct. There's no more. Another thing that they mentioned about bones is like after the Great War, they're like, they had to restrict access to bones because people would use them to like make things or to do crazy stuff or cast big spells or what have you. So they restricted access to them. So basically people have them, they're illegal. They keep them in very specific places, and they do not detail in these books where they keep them for, I guess, specific reasons. Any other specific stuff about dragons that you were looking for?
You know what? Winnie pivots once she's read enough to feel actually confident that this thing actually isn't a dragon egg. There's like this huge sense of relief that washes over her. She does not want to see one of these creatures again. And instead she kind of moves into, all right, well, let's see what this thing is. And when he kind of snaps one of the dragon books shut, and will then just go to that dial and crank it, starting with fire, and is kind of starts running through the different elements, kind of trying to pour them onto this egg and get a sense, does it react, or this ooze ball rather, does it react to anything? Does it do anything strange? Like, she wants to do practical physical research on this thing.
Okay. Give me... So, I mean, you can cast spells on this if you want. You can, like, ask Ruzavar for help. You can, like, do stuff. You can, like, I don't know, do things, like, I don't know.
This would be in conjunction with...
stuff.
Let's say this is in conjunction with the spell Identify.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Because we haven't cast that on the ball yet. We've done Detect Magic, but not Identify. You touch a object imbued with magic, and you learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement, if it has charges. You learn if there's any spells affecting the item, or if the item was created by a spell. And if it was created by a spell, I learn which one. Because Winnie has the time and the energy and the ability to do so, this actually casts as a ritual, which starts with her whispering into her spell book. It lays open on the table where the books on dragons have been shut, and she begins to kind of walk in a circle around this dragon egg. And as she does, these tendrils of gold kind of flicker throughout her fingers, and it's this exercise of plucking tendrils and then kind of tossing them around until we've created this sort of web of magic golden energy. And what she does is she's trying to kind of tie different tendrils to the object. It's this exercise of testing which bits of magic that are kind of in the air and around me fit, work, match,
okay.
Almost like trying to find the lock that fits the keys that she has.
Cool. So, like, some of these tendrils, like, they I don't know, they like touch and it like turns red, so it's like, oh, that's not it. But the ones that stay are like gold, like pew, and you find after I don't know, about like maybe 10, 15, 30 minutes, some of the, you have enough that are connected and you're like, okay, I can begin to understand. So you learn that this thing, there is an energy coming from it, a power coming from it. And the closest equivalent that you can understand what the type of power this is radiant power, for some reason. And you equate that with a soul. And the kind of the things, I guess, that it can do that you connected is basically just kind of like storing this power and I guess like expelling it, kind of like a battery. It was indeed created by a spell, or more of like, well, it's more of an effect, I guess, a spell slash effect. It's not, as a wizard, this is not a spell that you have encountered before, but it matches that necrotic transfiguration thing.
How dangerous does Winnie think it will be to destroy it?
I guess it depends on the way in which you do it. Give me like an intelligence or investigation, something like that.
Arcana?
Sure.
20.
Okay. You feel like you can do 3 things with this. You can use the power. Translated mechanically, you could be like, oh, it can give you like a bunch of spell slots type of a thing. Or you can cast a couple of spells with that until it's gone. Or you can reverse the spell, but you don't know exactly what that will entail, or you can destroy it. But with the level of power that was in it, you have to do it in a very specific way. It might be safe to do it in that elemental chamber. But I would feel like you think you have 3 options there. And you do see Aruzvar sort of floating around very curiously at you during this. But yeah, those are the 3 things that come to mind when looking at this object.
Well, shit. And Winnie just walks out of the chamber, goes back to where Vetra and Dole are. I've hit a bit of a dead end for now. How are y'all doing?
Could I actually look up one more thing?
Yeah.
Having hit that dead end, Vetra would have sat there for a moment and then immediately started looking for manipulation magic. Narrow down maybe what
could
specific like magic that could be, or how to dispel it other than another magic caster. That's a 17 for that one.
Okay. You look up sort of like lists of spells, and actually, since this is like a pretty new world of magic, it actually tells you like people that know these sort of spells or created these sort of spells. But a similarity that you're seeing in all of these things is that it's like a time limit sort of thing, or it's like, it's usually like an hour or like a day or whatever. And it's like, oh, well, this person can extend it to 2 days or whatever. But most of the time, there's not like a full domination type spell for like forever that you've seen, at least in spells and magic that have been recorded. And I think with that, that makes you sort of think of that weird claw that you guys have. And I would say you kind of look at that, and it doesn't look like a claw. It actually looks like a fingernail, like a really long fingernail, like from a person, like an all black fingernail,
Nope.
not like painted, but it was been broken in half. And you remember that from the vision of Mr. Cornhole, and when you fought the monster in Krennic's place, in the little vision with Cornhole, the monster had that sort of like long fingernail thing in the room when it was going for Pete the Drunk. And when you found it in Krennic's lair, it was broken and then it ran away. So you can kind of assume that any sort of transformation stuff might have come from that fingernail, and maybe some sort of control might be coming from that as well. There probably is more than just this monster involved.
Well, I think I may have narrowed down where the creature is keeping itself. The key that we have works on a couple of different mechanisms throughout the city. But the 2 that are long vertical shafts with the least amount of foot traffic because obviously if this thing was around people, we would have known about it sooner. Or the clock tower and the lighthouse. So I think those two would be very good locations for us to search into and see if we can't find the nest of this thing. I'm wondering, Adam, would I know at all what the clock tower is used for besides telling time? Obviously, but it's at the center of town. Is there like significance past the telling of time?
Well, actually, the clock tower is actually fairly new. It's been constructed. It's been started construction in the past year, but you know that over the past couple of months, it's been halted because they haven't been getting lumber from the Rookwood Forest. Like something's going on with the shipments. So that's sort of halted. It hasn't been completed, so it hasn't. It's the first of its kind, so it's not really been used for telling time yet. The lighthouse is near the refugee camp, near the Dagger Point, and there's actually been like a couple of other better lighthouses built around that time that are not really the tall kind. I don't know. There's like short ones, but that one's been there for quite a while. If
So
that
you have
answers the question.
the clock house, the clock tower that is without any sort of movement. Now the construction team can't even work on it. Or the lighthouse, which is right by its prey, in the refugees and veterans area of the city. But I think either one could house whatever it is we're looking for, and this key will do something about either opening the nest or finding whatever it is that hunchback man was trying to hide from us.
I think eventually, after about an hour, I kind of Theo rubs the sleep from her eyes and kind of yawns really, really big. Based on the kind of like tour that we were given of the tower, do I have a good feel for where Vigo might be, and also what time is it?
It is like 2 or 3 in the morning right now. It is a very big tower. Let me see if... yeah, let's say that he did point out the wing, I guess, where the VIPs and Vigo are staying. But he didn't tell you like specific rooms, but he's like, oh yes, it's that wing is where they are.
Okay. And because of the hour, it's reasonable to think that they're probably like sleeping, not necessarily like having another like peace talk or meeting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably asleep.
Okay.
But I mean, whatever.
So Theo, after rubbing the sleep from her eyes, waking up a little bit, grabbing her bag of bones and stretching, she's gonna go and try and find the other Knights of Nemeria, but I think she kind of like takes the long way around through the tower and sort of kind of stops in like the hallway where she knows the kind of VIPs are and where Vigo probably is. And
I'm gonna roll a d6.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. God damn it.
This is what I'm here for. I don't know about you, but
I was really hoping I was just gonna get away with it.
Not today. I would say you kind of like look towards that wing, and then sort of like coming out of one of the shadows, you see Vigo, the sort of gray tiefling, hooded, black leathers, rogue, very roguish type. And he's like, hi.
I see Vigo. I realize who it is. I remember what I told that guardian like an hour ago. And without processing that Vigo probably has already seen me and probably knew I was there from the jump, I like turn around the corner and I just like hide. Like just right around the corner.
I wonder where she went. I'm assuming the investigation isn't going very well.
I don't really know. I've actually just been resting. I had to do a little bit of a little bit of bone magic, and I got very, very sleepy. But how are the peace talks? Peaceful?
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
I guess going somewhere
Mm.
annoying.
Uh,
Really.
I'm sure. It's very late. What are you doing awake? What are you? Sorry.
Since Davith is off doing God's knows what, it's my job to make sure that they're safe. And he gestures towards the wing behind him.
I look around the corner so I can see where you're gesturing.
Yeah, you can see it's just like a hallway, pretty short. It looks like there's only 2 rooms on this wing, and both the doors are shut. And you actually do see what looks to be 2 or more Gain guards and Edurian guards standing guard at the door, but Vigo is just around.
Mhm. So I imagine that Theo is kind of having this conversation with Vigo where she is still very much like hiding herself behind that wall. So she's kind of just projecting her voice so they can hear. And she says, Vigo, I have a question. Is it okay if I ask it?
Sure. A little bit to where he can actually see you and just kind of like leans on like maybe like a banister railing near the stairs and just kind of looks at you hiding behind the thing. Maybe like a suit of armor or something.
Yeah, Theo's kind of just trying to make herself as small as possible. And like the wall sconce that like suit of armor is holding has just become so interesting, so very interesting. Just will not make eye contact. And Theo says, we ran into Krennic again, and he was missing his hands. Did you do that?
If I did, what would you have to say about it?
I don't know. I guess I don't really associate heroes of old with cutting off people's hands, but I know if you did it, you must have had a good reason. He didn't seem that cruel this time around. He just seemed kind of sad.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. But the decision was made.
Okay. Just so you know, I think whatever is happening, the people who are going missing and who are disappearing and being hurt, they're all veterans of the war. So
He sort of like raises eyebrows. And what makes you think that?
everyone so far who's been killed or who's disappeared has been connected somehow to the Great War. And
he kind of uncrosses his arms, kind of comes closer. He's like, so all of the people that are disappearing are veterans, right?
That's what we think so far, but they might have gotten more information without me. Like I said, I was resting, so that's just one of the theories that we have, but it seems like it might be true.
Any other specifics?
Not really, but I think we're gonna follow the next clue to the next place, and we're gonna try to be careful. But if they're going after veterans, they might be going after people like you too.
I'll make sure. He kind of thinks, kind of looks around. He's like, I think the Tomar Gain might have fought in the war. Thanks for the tip. I'll look in on this. Make sure none of these people, he gestures behind him, are involved. But if you find anything more, let me know.
Yeah, of course. And Two things. One, do me a favor and don't get too chatty with the guardians at the front gate. And two, take care of yourself. And Theo turns and just sprints as fast as she can away.
You're sprinting away, and he says, like, "Good job." And
do I hear that? Does Theo hear that?
Do you want to have heard that?
Oh yeah, I kind of want to hear that.
Okay, you know what? I won't roll for it. Yeah, you hear it as
Okay.
you're running away to the library.
Cool.
Yeah, so you join back with the group at the library.
Yeah, I walk in, I'm kind of smiling very quietly to myself. It seems like I'm in a great mood. And my face is like very flushed, like very pink in the cheeks, and it's not because I was running. But I will sit down with everybody else and say, "Oh, I had a great nap. It was very restful. I had a lot of dreams about bones. Where were we?"
Well, we have not made much groundwork in the time that you've been gone. It appears that you're our secret ingredient to answering anything we have. But we have a possibility of where this thing might be hiding. And I believe Winnie's been looking into the orb.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping I could dismantle it, but that is that's a more daunting prospect than I had originally thought. So, gonna table.
Dismantling, you say? Oh, that might be a very interesting thing to try. Would you require some assistance? I am not about. He sort of like looks at the orb. He's like, I'm 92% sure that I could dismantle it appropriately without any accidents.
Has Winnie told us what she learned about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Just, do we have any reason to maybe think that maybe the orb is Pete?
Now, okay,
Shrug.
now that's interesting. I hope not.
Just before we, completely destroy it or anything.
Well, in my mind, it has to be something that either the stalker itself or the hunchback wants. Because in our interaction with it in Krennic's pit, it was fighting tooth and nail to keep that thing for itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it must have something to do with either the stalker wants it or the hunchback does.
So we know it's not a dragon egg.
Right.
Thank
Is
God,
it-
yeah.
Is it crazy to think it could be a dark stalker egg?
That's what I was considering.
I will say, Vetra, with your research on the thing, it doesn't match the description of it.
Okay, yeah, Vetra would just be like, I don't think so, at least not. And I'm like looking to see which book it was because I have like 20 books out on the table right now, and I'll kind of pull it over and just show whatever sort of sketch they have for like the deep stalker eggs.
Well, that helps. That had been my next guess. It's insanely powerful. There is that. Which is why I don't think I still am leaning towards dismantling it, but that's why I think it'll be difficult, even with your help.
Well, that is the wonderful thing. That is the wonderful thing about magic and science these days. Everything is new. So the only way to find out is to try. At least I think so. So what do you say?
Well, we gotta ask what the hope is in
92%.
seeing this thing dismantled. Winnie, are you hoping that something comes out of this thing? You said it was some sort of storage, right? Is that the hope, that we break the bank and money comes flowing?
That's certainly one way to look at it. Yeah, it's this creature clearly wants it, right? So wherever we put it, I think the creature or whoever it answers to is going to keep looking for it. So I'd like to stop that from happening. So getting rid of it's one option. And
do you think I should double the security of the hero's tower?
Yes, actually, that'd be great. And if you could do that somewhere else, even better.
Of course. And he sort of floats away to go and do that. And he sort of like returns. He's like, "So, what exactly should I do to reinforce the security of the tower? The maze and the guardians have their own enchantments on them. There is very few windows in the towers. In the hero's tower, is there something that I need to be looking for specifically?
Are there drains?
Yes."
Yeah, I don't really know what to do with that information. I just
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, so they think, oh, yes, I can put some early detection spells on the specific drains, you said? Any other locations, perhaps?
small crevices.
Okay, yes. Like under doors, perhaps?
Yes.
And windows? Yes. I will do it at once. And he sort of floats away.
Maybe we should get that thing out of here as soon as possible. But maybe we shouldn't destroy it yet. I mean, if we know it's a target, maybe we can use that to our advantage.
Yeah,
Maybe.
better us than anywhere else.
Could even use it as a bargaining chip if we needed to.
I'm almost afraid of giving it away if it's this important. We probably don't want it in the hands of anyone else.
I do want to go start blasting it, but yeah, I think you're right. We go follow other leads. We keep that in our back pockets. We make sure this stays on us at all times, and kind of see what happens next. Dole, I think we go to one of the locations you looked at next, either that or the refugees. But
Well, we could start at the refugee camp, and then the lighthouse is directly next to it. And then we can come back to the center of town for the clock tower.
All right. So do you
we go
all
now?
want to sleep? Or do you want to go at, I think it'd probably be now at 3 in the morning.
Let's sleep.
Vetra will be like getting up to get ready to leave, and then be like, "Oh right, yeah, sleep."
y'all get some rest. I'm gonna take advantage of this while we're here. And Winnie is looking for a very specific spell in the tower
Okay.
instead of going to bed.
Okay.
Vetra will sit back down in the library.
Theo tries to sleep but is too excited to do so.
Oh, no.
Well,
Good night, Dole.
Dull is going to go get some sleep, and he starts picking at this stupid collar thing as he's going back to his room.
Oh, can Theo just poke it in the eye? Just like, oh, what Dole, what is
Yeah.
that?
It
You
is-
poke it, and it sort of blinks, and then it keeps looking.
I think it's an extension of our floating friend. He likes to stay close, and I'll pat it again.
I feel like when you touch the eye moves to a different location, and then it moves back. It dodges your hand.
I think on Dull's way out, he's going to grab like 6 different books and like juggle them into his hands, and then immediately declare very loudly, "Well, good night. I'm going to go steal all of these books now," and then leave. Go straight up to his quarters.
You're coming down one of the hallways, like, Mr. Ozan, Mr. Ozan, not funny jokes. Sort of following
Ozan.
after you.
At least if you're going to refer to me correctly.
Ozan, Mr. Ozan, and you just hear this sort of like trailing off as Dull is returning back to his room. Winnie, what sort of specific thing are you trying to find?
One of the first spells Winnie learned how to cast was Arcane Lock. And she knows it has a companion, or at the very least, she understands that the magic would have an opposite. She's looking for the spell Knock.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. You're gonna give me a investigation roll, And I'm going to need you to get a 20 or above to find this spell in the library.
Winnie
Okay.
doesn't mention this to anyone, does she?
Nope.
Okay.
So I think if you'll allow me, what happens is when he spends some time in the library and just looks through books and doesn't find anything, maybe finds some other spells, but nothing that interests her. And eventually, because Vetra is also hanging out in the library, Winnie will go and ask for help.
Vetra, if you want to help, you definitely can.
Yeah, I think Vetra's been kind of like seeing like the mission and like not interrupting, just chilling because we've got an orb with us and mostly just staying in here in case anything seeps in anywhere. So hasn't really been paying any attention. But yeah, if I'm asked, I would gladly help.
Yeah, you know how to work a library, and I do not. And Tom writes down everything because he's like super into himself and all the knowledge he has or whatever. So I'm looking for something that would help me open things.
Okay. So I got an inspiration last session. Is that something I could use right now?
I mean, technically, since you're just helping, that just gives Winnie like advantage, so she can just roll again. So you don't have to spend anything.
Okay.
But yeah, describe to me how you are helping Winnie.
I think Vetra would probably not think of looking up anything magical at first, and it would be a lot of like literal like lock picking and various things like that, and then kind of like remembering, oh, magic exists. We'll start kind of looking in that area, and while Vetra knows libraries, Vetra doesn't really know magic all that well, so she's doing her best.
Awesome.
Okay, that is a 23.
Okay. This is going to interrupt both of your guys' sleep a little bit. So you will not be back to full HP, but you will have the rest of your stuff back once you go to sleep. But I'll say, like, whatever your HP is, you just have 5 less than max after you go on a long rest, because you were up late trying to find this thing. And I'll say that you do find knock, and you also find dispel, which also sort of comes to mind when you're thinking of this, when you're thinking of whatever this is. And you're thinking, like, maybe, what if you, like, combined these spells or something like that? Or what if you kind of cast them at the same time? What would happen? And that's just a little thought, a little thought that comes in your head when you find these spells.
Unceremoniously, Winnie will just rip the pages that are applicable to herself out of the books in the library and just shove them into the back of her own spell book.
Luckily, Aruzavar is not in the library at all, so...
Vetra was immediately like, oh my... and just kind of looks to the door.
The camera jumps to where Aruzavar is in the castle, and he goes, oh, what the hell was that? And then it jumps back to you all.
And clicks the lock shut on her spellbook, and then just puts a hand on Vetra's arm. Thank you. I could not have done this without your help.
You're welcome.
Let's go get some rest.
All right.
Sure.
And with
I
that...
put the books back first.
They just put them back. Actually, you go to put them back, and then you see the books sort of like floating away to their spot, and then it's like, oh, and it like kind of goes back down, like, oh, did you want to do this? It just kind of floats back down. We return to our heroes after a night of sleep for some not as much sleep for Vetra and Chandler, not as much sleep as they would have liked, but everyone is restored. It is the morning, probably around a little bit before noon, since it went to bed a little bit late. And what is the plan?
Vetra would vote that we head to Dagger Point.
Yeah, seems reasonable.
All right. So as you are all like kind of descending the stairs, you can actually see in the main foyer where all the statues were. You do actually see the two VIPs kind of walking through and discussing things with each other. One of them looks like very much European medieval fantasy dressed noble, and the other one is more of Russian sort of dressed, and then you see Vigo and a couple of other guards sort of trailing behind, and Vigo's kind of like dragging his feet, and it like notices you all and gives you kind of like a head nod as he continues to follow behind them sullenly. But then the front doors sort of burst open to the hero's tower, and you see a very familiar face walking in. None other than Nicodemus Lockwood. He says, "Ah, yes, it is me again. Father, I have done a great deed." And you see him looking towards the Russian-looking VIP. He says, "Not only have I discovered the mystery of the disappearances, but I also have single-handedly defeated the monster in the night." And sort of striding over, having 4 Daramid guards flanking him as he's walking up very confidently to his father. And his father's like, what are you talking about? And he comes up, he says, "Yes, father, the monster that was plaguing the city, it attacked my party last night. I didn't see you there. And, but I defeated it in single combat, and I have it now as a trophy." And his father turns towards Nancy, says, That is very nice. Unfortunately, I have much more important things to do right now." And he turns towards the other VIPs, like, "As you were." And Nancy's like, yes, I also have important things to do. I was coming for this, and he points at a vase, and he goes and picks it up, and he's like, "Yes, this is what I came here for. Just wanted to say that to you on my way." And he notices you all, and he just kind of gives a darkened expression, and then he just starts to walk away without saying anything.
Nancy, come on back.
He stops, and he's like, sorry, what was that? Did someone who didn't come to my party that I invited say something? I don't think that... No, I'm pretty sure that wasn't them. And he keeps walking to leave the hero's tower.
Did he invite us to a party? I've already forgotten. He invited us to something?
Yes, he invited you all to a celebratory party after he arrested Krennic, and you all said no. Well, justifiably, you said no. So you see Nancy Lockwood and detective extraordinaire and novelist leaving the hall, and he was stopped by Aruzavar, and he's like, you can't take that. Sorry. He's like, yeah, sorry. He gives him the vase as he begins to walk out.
We talk to him. I don't want to.
Well, if he managed to kill the beast, we might as well find out what we can.
Shit, that's so reasonable.
I don't think he likes us very much, though.
I don't like him. That's fine. Shit, alright. When he starts walking in the direction of Nicodemus. Or Nicodemus Lockwood?
Yes, Nicodemus Lockwood. He said his friends can call him Nancy. So I would say that you all exit and walk through the maze that has been parted. And on the street, with the city is hustling and bustling, normal business. But you see that there is a carriage this park that has the 4 like Daremead guards that were flanking him. There's a little cage that is attached to the back of it, and indeed you see a dead deep stalker in this cage. And Nicodemus kind of like gets in the way of the cage. And he's like, sorry, trophies are for friends only, viewing things. I think your stuff is a little bit that way, somewhere less fancy. So you can go that way.
Oh, Nancy, don't be petulant.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, petulant. It's a word for it's like vindictive. You don't know petulant?
No, that's not what I meant. You shut up.
How did you kill it?
What?
How did you kill it?
With my bare hands, of course. I am an extraordinary fighter. You can read all about it in my books.
How did you kill it?
With my sword. He points at it.
You changed the story that quickly.
The hell was that? Something
As
fell
Petra
from the
is-
ceiling on me.
Nancy, are you okay?
What was that? Weird. What was that? Anyways, so back into the game. I don't know what the hell that was. It just fell on me. You see Lockwood, he's like, what the hell? And a bird pooped on his hat. He's like, ew, what? God. What? Sorry, what were you saying?
You were telling us about how you killed this thing with your sword.
Right, yes. You see, it came into the party, very rudely, I might add, and I slayed it single-handedly. And that's that.
Can I do some kind of perception check to see if he actually did kill this thing, or if perhaps it died of old age and he just happened to be there?
Yeah, you can give me an insight on him specifically to see kind of general demeanor, like what's going on. Or you can also do a perception or investigation on the creature. I will say it's
I
a
would
little
like
bit
to do that
difficult.
one if possible.
Cool.
I would like to look at the creature. If Theo was more looking at
Yeah, I'll look at him because I tend to believe things when people tell me, but I've picked up on the fact that you all don't like him, so like I'm starting to put the pieces together.
I will say
And Winnie's
also
looking at the guards.
Okay, so it's like, because looking at the thing in the cage, Nicodemus will not let you do that. So that's going to be a disadvantage, because he's
Okay.
getting in the way. He doesn't want you guys to see it. Winnie, you're looking at the guards. Anything specific, or just like looking at them, like not a roll?
Do they have injuries?
Without having to roll, they do not. They kind of look pretty fresh-faced. Doesn't look like they were like maybe like out last night or whatever.
17 on the inside.
Okay.
On Nicodemus, Nancy.
Without reading his books, you can tell that he tends to elaborate a lot of things. But you can also tell that he is, as a person, he tends to work well with praise or bribery, but he does not like to be threatened or tricked. So if anything like that happens, it'll be much more difficult to do, and he might take offense and just be outright done. And you feel like this guy's kind of on the edge. So like you could push him over relatively easily, or if you mess up, he could just be like, I'm not going to tell you shit. So that's kind of what you learn with the insight, based on like how he's moving and the interactions you've had with him before. He's kind of he wants to be liked and stuff, and be told that he's a good boy.
So what's the over-under that this guy has an unsigned copy of one of his books on him?
Like, what's the chance that he would have one of those on him? He would
Yeah.
definitely have a signed copy on him.
Okay, that's good enough. So I will kind of pull him aside a little bit and like kind of like wide-eyed. I don't know what I'm doing at the other ones, but I'll pull him aside.
Don't look at that. Don't. No, you stop. He's doing that as you pulling him aside.
And I kind of do the same thing I did earlier, where I kind of like stare off to the left, and I say,
No.
I know who you are. You're Nicodemus Lockwood, you're a very famous author.
Yes, I say that a lot.
I've always wanted to read your books, but I'm just on a Knights of Nemeria paycheck, so I don't make a lot of money doing that. Do you happen to have a book, a copy of one of your books for me? I'd be very, very grateful if you had one, please.
Do I have a copy of my book? I have a copy of 3! And he sort of snaps his finger, and that little sort of notebook thing kind of flies out of the carriage, and it has 3 books sitting on top of it. And it flies over. And he's like, I had no idea that one of these reprobates such as yourself was interested in such a finery. And the books sort of like float in front of you, and he's like, who would you like me to make it out to? Hmm?
Oh, just to me, just to Theo.
All right, Theo with the white hair. This one's for you. Best wishes. He starts signing these books and looks rather pleased with himself. Vetra, what did you roll?
So now my question of, does my inspiration from last game carry over?
You can totally use it if you'd like.
I would like to, not necessarily to see if he's lying, but to see if I can see how this thing died. Mm-hmm. It's more of a like, okay, that's not great. 16.
I would say with a 16, the guards are kind of the guards are now getting in your way, and they're like, "I'm sorry, he said not to get." But you do see there's several wounds on it, but unfortunately, they're not leaving you enough room to get close to it.
Okay.
Nancy, I never realized how important your father was.
Yes, he's just a little fancy negotiator for Tumorgata, not a big deal, you know.
So being a hero runs in your family?
A hero? And he kind of cheeks up a little bit at that. He's like, well, yes, I do fancy myself a little bit of a hero. My father does the more traditional type of thing, you know, the fighting and all that, politics. But myself, I like to write down most of my exploits, and my father didn't necessarily approve, but I keep doing them.
Well, if I'm being honest with you, at first I thought you were a little bit of a shyster. I thought that maybe the things you were saying weren't true, but I mean, seeing the incredible bloodline you come from and what you were capable of doing when we clearly could not.
I mean, it's
all of these things add up to a person who, well, is every bit the metal that he makes himself.
I mean, I won't brag, but I was asked to be a Knight of Nemeria at some point, but I refused. I said, no, people can chain me down. I must go where the wind takes me, or my books take me, but... You know, I've changed my mind a little bit about you all. You folks, like you said, seemed a bit, what was the word? Shitty when I first met you, but now I'm coming around.
Well, we'll chalk it up to first impressions. You know, a lot of us are also trying to escape the shadow of our parents. It's a commonplace thing. The next generation and all.
Yes, it's difficult, but no matter. But regardless of all that, the mystery has been resolved. Everything is done, and I guess it's up to my next book.
So then, I suppose you found the Hunchback Man as well?
How do you know about that? He sort of like looks at you.
Well, we've sort of just been following in your footsteps as far as the investigation has gone, picking up the pieces that you've left for us. But We've caught a few snippets here and there. I'm just wondering, if the beast is dead, then that must mean you also found the man, yes?
Oh, well... He looks a little confused. He's like, so you weren't there last night then? You didn't see him, the person running away?
So he was at your party.
Well, no, see, well... Let me start over. You see, the party happened, and, you know, it sort of happened like I said it did, but monster arrived, you know, bad stuff, and I swished my sword at it like I do, because I'm very good, and
Right.
well, I guess it got scared and started to float in the air for no reason, and floated back out the hole it came from, and after bravely going out into the alleyway, it was dead. And I saw some hunch person running away, and then poof, they're gone. So, all in all, just done, I'm pretty sure.
I'm going to ask you a question, and please don't be offended by it, but did anybody show up to your party, or was it just you?
There was a lot of people there, I'll have you know. There was this guy, and all these people were here, and you see some of the guards are like, they shake their heads. The very important people that I did not pay, there was Gregory, and Finisa, and Dylan, and Genevieve, they were all there. Anyways, anything else to say? I think I've got to go. I've just got a good paragraph in the brain, and I'd like to write that down.
So this beast floated into your party.
It floated out.
Out. So it came in, it was very much alive.
Yes, it seemed to be running around, sniffing something.
Then it is lifted into the sky, taken out of the building.
Yes.
That is where you find it dead.
Probably some, I don't know, freak weather accident. My thoughts.
Right.
Before he turns away, do I see anything on him made of silver?
No, you do not. But, you do see that he's like, oh yes, I also remember that, there was we also found like a weird fingernail or something. I threw that thing away. But that was there. Yeah, weird.
Fingernail was broken? Or intact?
Yes it was. Seemed like it had it and then broke, I guess, when it was floating away. Something like that.
Where was your party located in town?
Oh, is that a very fancy building? And he sort of like, he tells you where it is. And basically, it is on the way to Dagger Point. I mean, you would have to kind of like, it would be a little detour, but you would, it wouldn't be like completely out of the way. He's like,
Yep.
yes, I don't know, I'm not having another party there, if that's what you're, getting at. I'll invite you next time, don't you worry.
No, Nancy, I appreciate
no.
it, though. No, we want to see this thing through to the end, if that makes sense. You have done...
It's done.
Yes, you've done quite a good job with the first half, but...
Yes, arresting Krennic and that old woman, I mean, it's pretty much done.
Right. We think that hunched man has more to say.
Oh no, that's probably some greasy old homeless person, probably.
Right, but, well, we don't want to worry you or keep you busy with things that are far,
Oh, yes,
far
no, of
below
course, yes.
your
I
purview.
have many important things to do. I have to... What was it I had to do? He looks over at the other guards and like, I think you had a bath appointment. Yes, that was what I had to do. Bath. Important for the portraits.
Well, Nancy, you've actually helped us quite a bit. And I
Well,
say
wonderful.
that with a lot of disbelief, I know. I have an offering for you. since I feel that I've been unkind to you in the past. If you'd like, you could stay in the tower, in my quarters. And we may come back with more information resulting to this case, and we can come together with what we've learned together.
Are you kind of like play punches at you? Are you inviting me to hang out?
Don't touch me.
Is that what's going on here?
No, I just figured that maybe
it sounds like I've made a friend.
Sure.
Sorry, I can't make friends during investigations. It's too much. It's too much. Too many people get hurt. But alas, I know that you loved me so, and well, we'll have to leave it at that. I have to go now. Goodbye, good friends. And
Nancy.
He starts to walk away. Huh?
It gets a lot easier when you stop trying to impress him.
Does. It truly, truly does.
He kind of stops, and you can tell that kind of cut through a little bit. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. silly big lady with swords. That's funny. You're funny. Where is it? And then he just walks over and just like tries to get into the carriage, but you feel like that stuck with him. So you can see this cage with the monster in it now. It seems like he's allowed the guards to let you kind of look at this if you want.
What a hopelessly insecure individual. I wish him all the best.
As you say, hopelessly insecure individual, Theo looks over at you and says, "That was really scary. Did I do okay?"
Theo, you did exceptional.
Okay. And I kind of like elbow you like a little bit.
You are becoming quite the talker. Honestly, I think you would do well in the Falks.
I'll keep that in mind. Thanks.
If you ever need a second profession besides the bones, please let me know. I can get you gainfully employed in a politician's seat.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think the bones are enough for me.
Fair.
For now, anyway. But thank you.
First. Well, we have a dead stalker. That's one thing off of our list. My question is this the only one? Is this the one we encountered? I'm going to look for the silver spot that it was hurt by with the candelabra in Pete's room. Is that present?
Yeah, without having to do a roll, you see it. It is on the chest, and you also see a slash across its abdominal. It looked like it wasn't healed from Winnie's radiant attack with her sword the other time. But then you also see like just many little holes sort of like peppered through it. Yeah.
So this is the one we encountered. And it was carrying another one of those toenails or whatever sort of keratin that it was keeping with us, like the one we have now. Winnie, do you think that that's some sort of binding property to the spell of manipulation?
Magic is new and manipulation isn't really my forte, but yeah, that's a compelling case you put together.
Why would the hunchback kill its own creature as a show of power, as a display at this party? That's what's not making sense to me. He's not shown himself outside of to prep Krennic against us or to place those items at the morgue. So why now is he making a blatant display to draw our attention?
As you are thinking about that, one of the guards that was guarding Nicodemus sort of comes up, and he's like, "Excuse me, you all know Dylan, right?"
Yes.
Right. If you see him, can you just tell him I'm sorry? I just you know, like, it's awkward. Well, like, kind of, I didn't really mean to, you know, it's been a while, and I didn't apologize, and it'd mean a lot if you tell him that, sorry, my name Miles. If you could just tell him that Miles is sorry, I'd appreciate it.
What are you apologizing for, Miles? If I can be so
just like
rash?
a little disagreement.
You disagreed with Dylan. Dylan isn't very disagreeable. What happened?
Yeah, it's just small. It doesn't matter. But if you see him, when you see him, just appreciate you tell him Miles is sorry. Just haven't seen him yet today, and sorry if you could just, yeah, appreciate it.
Well, he was supposed to come here to the tower for us.
Oh, shit, really? He looks really nervous. Well, if you see him, I'd appreciate it if you didn't, yeah. And he just kind of slowly backs away, back to the carriage.
Bizarre.
Someone give me an investigation check, real quick, or a history.
I have a +4 investigation.
Go for it.
17.
Nice.
You sort of, as Miles was kind of talking, you remember that when Nicodemus was talking about all the people that went to his party, he did mention Dylan.
Dylan, yeah.
And Dylan has not showed up this morning, and apparently didn't show up at, like, I don't know, like the guard barracks either. So
Didn't Dylan say he was isn't he a veteran?
I don't know if he said, but you can ask one of the guards.
Would his name have come up in the books last night?
Oh man. So I feel like with the books with like lists of veterans from the war, there's a lot. There's like thousands of names and stuff. Like, actually, you know what? They probably wouldn't have put like foot soldiers. They probably have put like just commanders and stuff. So,
True.
No, it did not. They would not have put foot soldiers' names. But I'll just say you could guess, maybe.
Shit, I can't remember. I think I can't remember. Hey, and Winnie snaps very rudely at one of the guards who's standing by. Did
Yep.
Did
Yes.
Dylan fight in the war?
I think so. I think you mentioned that.
Yeah, shit, we gotta go.
I think he was in the 13th or something.
Oh,
Yeah, that's no
God.
good.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, and he sort of like twiddled his fingers. Just like a little
Where
bit.
do we look?
We should go back to where the party was held first, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know your way around town, right? It's a big house, I'm sure. Somewhere fancy.
I can get us there, yeah.
Cool. Is there anything else you want to do with this monster body or whatever, or do you want to go off?
I think just hurry off at this point.
Theo?
Any rituals you want to do real quick, or?
I am so tempted to take a bone, but I don't think that would be a good idea, given what my bone magic can do to me. I might be better suited to keeping that in my back pocket. So I will not take a.
You know what? I mean, give me some sort of roll.
Okay.
Like a wisdom or any sort of roll that you.
Okay.
Even like an intuition, insight, something like
okay.
that.
Have fun with this, Adam. That's a 7.
There's been theories flying around of orbs being people, monsters being people, that kind of stuff. So I guess it's kind of up to you if you want to take that risk.
Okay. Yeah. In that case, I will take I will take a bone. I will not use my like dagger to take it. I will just take a bone, but I will not put it into my pouch with the other bone. So there's no chance that I will take it out later and have something bad happen when I do that. So I will take the bone, but I won't keep it with the others.
Okay, cool. All right, so you just kind of pop that bad boy out, and yeah, you all are heading through the city to go to like the party location. Is that what you were heading to first?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you go through the city streets, a bunch of carriages going by, people busy, carts, people selling stuff, little kids asking for coins and stuff. And then you eventually stop by this nicer area, or this building where it looks like people are cleaning up. It looks like a fancy, sort of open air type building, but one of the walls, there's a big hole in it, and you see some people kind of like sweeping up stuff. There's not, it looks like if there was stuff around here, it's been kind of cleaned up. But you do notice a weird guy with a nest belted to his head that has a chicken in the nest on top of his head, and he's kind of in an alleyway with like a bunch of like boxes and sticks. He looks like a homeless guy. And he's just kind of like, it looks like he lives in an alleyway directly across from that alleyway. And he's kind of eyeing y'all a bit fishy.
Excuse me, eggs. And I'll gesture over to the man.
Ah! What'd you say?
I said eggs. That's right.
Ooh, my name's not Eggs, it's Bisque.
Bisque?
My name's Bisque.
Bisque?
Bisque.
Like tomato bisque? Like lobster
No,
bisque?
like my name, Bisque.
Fantastic.
What's your name?
Dull.
Don't like stupid?
No, dull like my name. Dull.
Well, it looks like we got something in common. What you want?
Stop. Stop waving at
What?
me like that.
What's that? Clarice, you want up or down? Okay, you can get up. What's that?
Bisque, I need your attention, please. This is...
What do you want?
Were you here last
You
night?
cops?
No, we're not cops. Look,
You look like
at
cops.
her, and I point at Vetra. Do you think that's a cop?
She looked like a cop. She got tattoos.
What cops are you hanging out with?
I don't know. What do you
This-
want?
Pay attention, please. Last night.
I pay attention. You're the one telling me dumb
Oh,
names.
he's doing it again. Last night, were you
What you
here?
want? I'm here every night. I've done. What do you care?
I care because there was a party going on last night, right?
Maybe.
What do you mean, maybe?
Maybe there was. Maybe there weren't.
Was there?
I can't remember.
I need you to remember, okay?
Maybe
In fact,
some.
I'm gonna reach into my side and I'll give him a gold piece. Do you remember now?
Snatches it. I might remember a little.
Well, then tell me what you remember of the party.
6 gold. I remember what happened.
What?
6 gold. I remember what happened.
You want 6 gold from me?
Yeah. You got it?
Yeah. I
Give
got
it.
I reach in, I give him 5 more gold pieces.
Good.
Now you're gonna tell me everything that you know, Bisque.
I tell you.
I just paid a fortune for your existence.
Let me tell you what I saw. You see this? See this? This flying night chicken came out with wings as far as the eye can see.
Right.
And then this man, well, I saw the face of God come out, and he came with a robe. I swear, God, it was Dragon Incarnate coming out there, and he
hold on.
got
Dragon
the night
Incarnate?
chicken, and he brought him out, and he got him, and then he poof off. He turned right in it. You hear?
Hold on. Dragon Incarnate?
Oh yeah. You think I'm crazy? I saw him coming out. Mm-hmm.
So he
You
was...
all think you worship the gods he cut. You want down? You got
What?
okay, I'll get you down.
Oh.
What?
He was
Yeah, I saw
Dragonborn?
him. Dragonborn.
His face. He was dragon incarnate.
He's an old man. He wasn't born.
He was a dragon, though. You can
Close
do it,
enough.
Bisque.
Close enough, I think.
And he brought the chicken with him.
No, yeah, well, he see what he said. He used the powers of the universe. He reached out with the stars, and I saw the light coming down from the end of the peaks, and he brought him out
Yeah.
dead. And then
He brought the
poof,
creature out dead.
Poof, turned to spaghetti. He was gone.
Oh, God. This is unintelligible. It's like,
But he got him though.
yeah.
Oh, he
got
took a shiny with him too. The
Took a
cop.
shiny?
He took the cop with him.
Cop.
Mhm.
He took
Yeah.
Dylan.
Who Dylan? Your name's
Cop.
Dull. Who Dylan?
Dylan is a
You
cop.
cop?
Yes,
Fuck cops.
I agree, but this one is going to die unless we catch him.
Good.
Thank
Forget I said anything.
you. Bisque, you
What?
said he... Bisque,
You want to know
please.
more? You give me 6 more gold.
6 more gold.
6 more
Bisque.
gold. You want to know more?
Bisque, I gave you 6 gold already.
I can tell about a book I'm writing. It's a brand new Bible.
He's a writer too.
It's a brand new Bible. I saw mysteries.
Can't survive much more of a conversation.
You said
Yeah.
that he brought the creature out dead.
Uh-huh.
Was that
Well,
from
he did it.
out... Listen, just listen to the question, please.
I'm
Okay,
listening. You better slow.
Was it inside
Go back
of
on.
the party
Get back.
out or outside of the party in?
Is that the party? Point to the building.
Oh, yeah, that's the party.
You brought it out.
Dead.
Hands.
Hands.
Do it like that. The stars, light of God went in them.
So you didn't hear anything of the creature before he arrived?
Oh,
The-
sneaky. Night chickens, them sneaky. They get in there.
Right.
I didn't hear nothing.
And you didn't see
Yeah,
where
people
they
scream.
went off. He went spaghetti and
Oh, he
left?
whoop, spaghetti. Gone.
Does a night chicken look a little something like this? And when he
Yeah.
steps forward and using minor illusion will create a very small representation of a night stalker kind of within her hands to show this gentleman.
He bats at it. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Get out. Get it. Get it. Get it. It's
Yeah.
okay, Claire. Calm down. Calm down.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what, like, 6
But-
more gold. I'll tell you more.
What more do you know?
What do you want to know?
What am I paying 6 gold for?
We're going to find out.
Can you give us a hint?
It rhymes with cop.
I'm not a
Did you see
cop.
what-
I'm just on a Knights of Nemeria salary.
No, it rhymes with cop.
I think he might have seen like an evil moth or something.
Stop.
You done?
Stop. Drop.
It's cop.
You can't say that cop rhymes with cop.
You can't
It
tell me what
is
to do.
cop.
I can rhyme things with whatever I want.
Oh,
I'm my
he
own
knows-
god.
He knows more about the... Fine. I'm gonna take
Yo,
out another
get.
6
I'm gonna
gold.
make my soup. And he shot his shoes.
I take out another 6 gold. Bisque.
Oh, shit! Give me that.
Ah! Not until you tell me about the cop.
Or your book, honestly.
He looked like a big mountain.
The cop looked
Thick.
like a mountain?
Mm-hmm.
What?
He thick.
Oh, did he look
it's
like
Dylan.
this? Yeah. Is this the mountain cop?
That's cop. Mm-hmm. He gone
Yeah,
with him.
alright.
Spaghetti.
I'm not paying you
Alright.
6 gold for that. You're not
What?
getting paid
You
for that.
trying to be? They robbing me. Where the cops at?
The
They
the,
robbing
the,
me.
the man that the chicken god stole away, was he smart like Dole, or was he more like you?
He was that one. And she pointed at Winnie's hand that showed the representation of Dylan.
Dylan. So when he when he spaghettied away,
Yep.
he took Cop with him.
Yep.
Well, this is someone really important if they can spaghetti.
Give me the 6 gold.
You got your 6 gold. I'm not doing this with you, Bisque. You have put me through enough anguish. You're not getting
give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh my god.
God.
You don't want this, Bisque.
You don't want this bisque, bitch.
Dexterity saving throw, you said? 22.
Okay, he tried to grab the gold, but you like move it out. He's like,
I
damn
could
it!
just straight up swat his hand. Bisque, you control yourself.
You get out of here! You don't touch Bisque like that! Don't Clarice will get you. She'll get you. You best get out of here before I let her loose. She's gonna come at you, poke your balls out.
Okay. This has been
puts down
lovely.
Clarice.
Thank you, Bisque.
Get out of here! I don't want to see your face no more.
Right.
Get!
Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna take a few steps
Damn
away.
cops! Shit out of here!
What the
So-
fuck just happened?
Our friend Bisque just told us a lot of information.
Did he?
Yes.
Adam,
I
can
wasn't catching any of it.
Adam, can I make a sanity check?
You sure can.
So Bisque was here last night. Party was going fine until he saw the second half of what Nancy did. The hunchback shows up, drags the creature floating out from the building, and then kills it on the spot in front of it. And then teleports away with Dylan, of all people. But already had Dylan, according to Bisque's explanation.
I would say you can get from that like Dylan probably was running out to see what was going on, and that person grabbed him and teleported away. So it's not like they were in cahoots or anything.
You got all of that from that conversation.
It wasn't easy. I lost 6 gold. That's just the richest, insane man in this city. Listen, if he can teleport this hunchback, then we are dealing with something nearby unheard of. An incredible mage. I know a few people. I think Tom can do it, but I haven't heard of anyone else besides, the mother of magic that can make things like that happen.
You think Tom can do it?
Well,
Hell,
he's-
I think we can do it. I have an idea.
You have an idea.
Yeah, actually, we need to find Dylan, like right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Winnie pulls out the ooze ball, which she now knows is exceptionally powerful. Winnie wants to find Dylan, and Winnie has a spell it's close. It's close to being something that could find Dylan, but it's not quite there. And Winnie, just in a bit of not quite desperation, it's this mix between like arcane excitement, but also wanting to help someone. She begins going through the motions of casting Locate Object. And what she's doing is she's thinking about Dylan. She's never cast this spell to find a person before, because that's not how it works. People are more complicated than things. But she's thinking about Dylan. She's thinking about his voice. She is thinking about the way that he holds himself. She's thinking about kind of just the shape of this man who they've had a couple conversations with. And as she kind of nears kind of the end of pulling together those threads that she thinks make a Dylan, her other hand holding this ooze ball, she's going to slip her fingers and try to drive them into the ooze and try to tap into that magical energy and try to make this thing let her cast a an old spell in a new way. She's looking for Dylan.
Yes. Hell yes, that is fucking awesome. So what I'm gonna have you do, this is a very difficult thing to do, but it is possible. So what I'm gonna want you to do is, let's say you can either you convince me of the skill or ability you want to use, but you're going to have to get a 25. Because this is very hard to do something like this. This is a spell that you have never done. This is basically taking a spell and creating a new spell on the spot. But it is possible if all of the things go correctly. So what sort of skill or ability do you want to use to try to do this?
I think this is Arcana. It's Winnie drawing on everything she's learned, everything she's known, and a few things she found last night in Tom's Tower.
Okay. And what is that? What do you have a plus to that?
+7.
+7. Okay, so that means you need to get at least an 18 or above.
All right.
Let's see if this happens, people.
That is a natural 1.
Oh no! Okay. So everyone give me a dex save.
Oh shit.
Winnie, I would say you have disadvantage because you are holding this thing. But everyone else, you can give me one.
So
I don't need to roll a second.
I rolled
Another 1.
a natural 20.
Oh, okay.
Can I use some of that dex save to try and shield Winnie, knowing that this is going tits up?
14 for me.
Not one.
Oh.
What?
Okay. All right. So, unfortunately, Winnie, you were pulling at these threads and trying to do this, and I would feel like you see kind of like in your mind's eye, like kind of like different locations are like moving around as you're trying to figure out how to do this spell. You indeed stick your hand into this goopy ball, and you do feel some of the raw sort of divine magic coming from it, and it is indeed helping you, but it's too much. And you sort of pull your hand out at the last second, and then just boom, this huge explosion erupts from it, just like force energy hitting everyone back. Dole, what does it look like when you jump in and try to take some of the damage from Winnie?
Yeah, I think the way that like eventually you become so averse to or familiar with terrible situations that like your body slows down, and I think that Dull has been in enough of these situations that it is like a rapid, quick response in his mind. Like the synapses fry first, and he dives through to sort of disconnect Winnie from the ball itself, and it sends both of them flying, rolling into the dirt. And he just tries to shield on top, knowing that this is going to be a bad explosion, not realizing that there was another nat 1 too, Theo.
And usually you jump and you get Winnie out of the way. You only both Winnie and Dole only take 3 force damage. Vetra and Theo, you take 13 force damage from this thing. And it's just a big explosion. I feel like the camera kind of zooms out and you see the street, and you see a come from a distant street side in the town. People stop what they're doing in the streets. All the carriages stop. People start screaming, running away. Some of the cobblestones are moved out of the way. And when the dust clears, you see the body of Pete the drunk lying there. And you see his body start to move a little bit, and then it just withers away as this sort of like stream of what the magic users can see is kind of like divine energy comes out of it, almost like the soul, and it dissipates. And he like looks like a raisin of a person.
Is everybody okay?
Did it work?
No. Shit, sorry.
So as Winnie unfortunately kind of like fucks up the spell, I think Theo thinks like this is over, like this is just game over, like we're done. So she very audibly, so that all of you can hear it, says, "Tell Vigo," and then like it hits her, but she doesn't. She doesn't actually go down, and she looks over at everyone and says, "Just forget about that. Forget about that. I didn't. You didn't hear that.
What?
It's nothing. It's not. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good.
I
Dagger point.
just
We're
thought
good.
I heard something about Vigo. Maybe I'm going crazy.
No, you didn't hear it.
Okay.
That was Pete. That was that.
You were right.
I'm not usually. Yeah, that doesn't usually happen.
You were right.
Give yourself more
call.
credit. That happens. Yeah.
But this means a lot for what we're doing here. Was Pete a veteran?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Shit, I fucked that up on so many levels. I'm sorry, y'all.
What if they're not killing them?
They're turning them into power conduits, which is a problem because that means, oh shit, okay. That is a problem for different reasons. That went to shit, but I can do it again, but better. And Winnie will cast Locate Object again. I think she's still like laying on the ground, like half under Dole.
Yeah.
And
So I'm sitting there like, we're doing this again?
I would say, wait, are you trying to do it in the exact same way again?
No,
okay, I was like, because the orb is gone.
And this time Winnie casts the spell she knows the way that it works. And instead of trying to find a person which is beyond the scope of the spell, she is looking for another orb that is of the same type and ability and make and model of this thing. She is immediately alerted.
Bitch.
Look at that GM smile right there.
She's immediately alerted to the location of the closest ooze ball within 1,000 feet.
Right. And it gives us like a GPS blinker, right? I love Locate Object.
Vetra is helping everybody up, by the way. Like,
yeah.
Pulling
like
everybody
pushing
onto their feet.
stones off of people and rubble. And I would say also, Vetra, even though you didn't see people's names when you were looking in the the roster of like the veterans, you were looking in the 13th Regiment, and you did see under like a little sub label, it said like special unit, and you don't know what that meant. But it didn't have names on it, but it's just said different sections in the veterans stuff, and you just noticed that one, and you kind of thinking back to all the people that have been taken or found dead or whatever, you just kind of remember, let's see, what was his name? Remember Miles going like this with his hands, moving his little fingers, and that kind of makes you think, magic? Maybe there was like a special unit in the 13th Regiment that either could do a little bit of magic or it was magic touched or something like that. And I don't know, that sort of little connection sort of forms.
I wonder if this is why the stalker wanted the orb so bad. Maybe the stalker is Cornhole. He's looking for Pete. Maybe they served together.
You did you do have Cornhole's body was in the tavern. Right. You did
Ignore
that
me.
Was the first body you did find.
But you might be onto something. What if whoever is controlling all of this is the person from the vision that I saw when I stabbed the dragon bone?
Yeah, that makes
powerful
sense.
Wizard
or
sorcerer.
Power. Mm-hmm. I mean, just like Winnie just now, like they just need the power to fuel whatever it is that they're doing, right? I don't know magic, but that makes sense to me.
So he's forming batteries off of these people from the 13th Battalion. But a battery only serves its purpose, right? There has to be something the battery is fueling. What is this madman making?
It can't be a coincidence that Vigo and the others are in the middle of peace talks. That
Right.
can't be a coincidence.
Right.
Someone wanting to reignite the Great War,
Yeah.
looking for revenge.
I can't see how that's not what this is. And if that's the case, then do you think he's targeting the tower?
And I think that's when Winnie wipes a bit of blood from one of her ears and just kind of looks in the direction, hopefully feeling a ping from another ooze ball.
I would say it's kind of like a compass where it's or maybe it's like it like vibrates or something, or you feel a pull in a general direction, and then like you kind of have to like move around or rotate, and then wherever it feels strongest you go in that direction. So it's definitely it is leading you in a direction. But as you're like getting up, dusting yourself off, people are kind of clearing away. You do see about like 8 griffins with riders sort of descend into the streets, and they all sort of like get off, and you see that those are all these people getting off, and one of them is Davith Vikander. He gets off. He's like, "What's going on here? What's the hell is what? That's right, Chandler. What the hell is going on here?" Anyone? No? There's an explosion in the street. No one's going to say anything about it? God, I saw it all the way over from Dagger Point. Damn! The hell?
Theo will kind of look over at Vetra and Winnie, who I assume are kind of somewhat in a state of shock. And Theo, despite like shaking like a leaf, like pulls up the sleeve of her cloak and shows the Knights of Nemeria tattoo on her arm and says, we're the Knights of Nemeria. This is Knights of Nemeria business. Everything is going according to plan.
All right, I've met you before, my dear. Did you forget?
No, I'm just scared shitless. We're the Knights of Nemeria. Everything is going to plan.
That's all right. You can calm down. It's fine. I just want to know what happened here.
You heard Theo.
Okay, you have it under control.
Yes.
Yes, Winnie and Vetra both did a wonderful job of tracking things and casting spells. You should have seen Vetra. She was wonderful. She was so fantastic, and Winnie was pretty good too. They did such a good job.
He sort of looks over at Vetra.
Vetra has solved a major piece of the puzzle to this investigation, and while I would love to sit here and regale you with all of the facts, we're pursuing Vetra's lead as we're speaking. So if you could give us some distance while we pursue, if you could look over this situation here in town, should just be a corpse. If we could send that to the morgue, and if you could do sort of the cleanup on the scene, as it were, and I'll pat him on the shoulder. Thanks, Davith.
He looks down at you as you patted at him, and he's like, Vetra, a word. And he sort of walks away without waiting for you.
Vetra just looks to Winnie and says, "So do you know where we're going next?"
Yeah, no, I mean, yes and no. It's kind of I've only done this a couple times, and we do need to get going.
Following you.
You see Sir Davith comes back, and he's like, all right then, Vetra, what the hell's going on? What's going on in all this business, huh? What's happening here?
That's what we're trying to figure out. Now, are we going to stand here and keep talking, or can we finish doing our job?
He sort of leans in. He's like, you really think you should be involved in all this business?
Don't you have more important things to do?
Yes, I do, and I think... Is it really the path you want to go down, doing errands for the likes of him? Vigo, it's not the type of person that you should be. I don't like it. Doing missions for a person like that. No magic, not blessed by the gods. He works in the shadows, intrigue. That's not the kind of person. That's not who you are, Vetra. I know that, and you know that. Come on. You leave this business to them. You really need to be involved in this. Come on.
Vetra does not say another word, turns around and goes to stand by Winnie.
Well, Davith, this was great. Like I said, if you could just deal with the cleanup. And I think that Dull starts marching off in the direction that Winnie was pointing out.
I think Winnie will kind of reach out a bit tentatively and kind of reach for Vetra's hand. And then squeeze it tight. And then she just starts walking. And kind of her ears still bleeding, and she looks kind of woozy as she kind of maintains this spell that still doesn't quite agree with her, and she's just moving in the direction that it's telling her to go.
Wait. Do you need any help?
Theo looks at Vetra and kind of like very quietly mouths, I'm sorry, and turns to Davith and says, "Not from you, sir," and spins around and follows Vetra and falls into step beside her.
Very well. And he turns around, and you just hear him being like, all right, everyone out of the street, move, get out of the way, move, get out of the way. Yeah, you are all heading through the city, walking away from Sir Davith. Winnie, Chandler, you are leading your group through the city, I would say you get like the message spell from Davith, and you hear him say, just keep her safe, all right? I'll owe you a favor. That's what you get from him. He says, please. And that's what you get from him. You can choose to respond if you want. You don't have to. You're being led through the city by this like internal compass, and you're going around corners, moving by, and you're moving farther and farther away from Dagger Point, from the refugee camp, and you go into a square, and you are indeed at the clock tower. And you see in this square, there's actually like quite a few people kind of like hanging around. It looks like construction has stopped. You can see that there's like a construction dude walking over to the only door to go into the clock tower. It's at the very bottom. There's no windows. Basically, it's like about 100 feet up, and at the top where like the clock face would be, it looks like that's still under construction, but it's like halted right now. Yeah, no windows, just that one door at the bottom, and in the square there is some people hanging around, trading stuff, little stalls, and there's an artist that is carving a horse out of cabbages. He seems like he's in the process of doing that. And you also see that Nicodemus Lockwood has his carriage parked over there with the monster, and he's kind of showing it off to people, and just kind of hanging around with that. But the internal compass is pointing you towards the clock tower.
Does it seem to be locating up or down?
It is locating it's kind of alternating between the middle and the up of the clock tower.
Does it appear to be moving? Because the spell does allow for her to feel if the object is moving.
It is not moving. There's just multiple different sources.
Oh.
Interesting. So Winnie kind of relays that to the group, just kind of once again like rubs at her temples and points. Good call, Dole.
I would just
This
like
is
to
where
say
we're
that
going.
this means I was right, and we can put that in my column.
If you're keeping score, sure. Why don't you use that key and get us in?
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna move towards wherever the entrance into the clock tower is.
Yeah,
Try
you
and
actually
get us
you
through.
see a guy. Actually, he has a normal key. It looks like that is not a key to open the door. He just like kind of opened the key, kind of turns around. He's like, hey,
Are you with the construction crew?
yeah, just
Perfect.
getting my boots. Got a new job.
Congratulations.
you,
Can you give me your keys to the building?
who are you?
We're the Knights of Nemeria. We are the second hand to the heroes
Oh
of
shit.
the entire
Okay.
world.
Well,
So
nope.
I need two things from you right
Fuck
now.
me, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know I'm even eating heroes again. Holy shit! Wow. Oh god. Oh man.
Focus in. Focus in.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can do this.
What do you need? What do you need?
One, I need your keys. Every key you
Yeah,
have to
here
this
you go.
building.
Here you go,
Thank
man.
you. Two,
you go.
I need you to inform the guard and anyone nearest to this building to evacuate immediately.
Oh shit. Whoa. What's going on? Everything all right?
Everything within a mile radius, if you could do so. And
Oh,
I'll
okay.
pat his cheeks, and then I'll
Oh,
walk past him with the,
Hey,
the keys.
Hero touched me. That's crazy. I could get my boots real quick, but I mean, yeah, I'll go do that right away. Right
Do
away.
not get your boots. Do not get your boots.
I really need my boots.
Do not get your boots.
They're
Mile
right
radius.
there. Can you just? The door's like open, and
I'll
you can
take
see.
the boots.
you just
and
hand me
I'll
the boots?
Toss them at him.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll go grab the guard. Cool. Thanks so much. What's you guys' names again?
Knights of Nemeria.
Knights of
Goodbye.
Nemeria.
I
Oh my
shut
God.
the door.
Hey, this is
behind
so great. Right in his face. And
I swear, it is like every person in this city was designed to slow us down.
so you are, as you enter into the clock tower, it looks like, I mean, maybe that guy would have known more. I don't know, but at least like the bottom layout is basically like this bottom floor looks like there's a bunch of boxes and stuff and like equipment and like where the construction people would have put all of their stuff, and then like a couple of boxes that haven't been carried up. But it looks like there's stairs that go along the outline, kind of like Big Ben Square style. There's stairs on the inside that go along the perimeter, and then it leads to another landing above. And you can guess that there might be like a middle landing and then a top landing. So you're on the bottom one, and nothing seems amiss. Everything looks completely normal down here. There's like some tools. You don't see any like weird scratch marks or ooze or anything like that. Looks completely normal. And the stairs lead up towards the second landing where there's another door.
What does our compass say, Winnie?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. I think, though, I'm assuming we're pretty close to this spell running out. It only lasts for about 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Unless you probably would have to cast it again. Like getting through the city, like takes a while. So maybe
In that
just
case-
like just 2 uses of it or something.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll spend another spell slot for it, and it's probably that second use of the spell is probably just about to run out.
Cool.
So when he points, yeah, no, it's I mean there, up there, yeah. Everybody be careful.
So
Shit, I
what
did
is the
not feel
marching
good.
order? Who is going up first? It is definitely like single file stairs.
I'll go up first.
I'll go second.
I'll go third, keeping an eye on Winnie.
All right.
And as we're heading up too, I just want to say, you said we, by the way,
We?
to Dill.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
we are the Knights of Nemeria.
It was just a figure of speech.
It's
to
just
get us
funny.
into
It's
the
just
door.
funny, really.
What's funny about that?
Well, you were so adamant everybody knew you weren't just, a few
I'm
hours ago.
just acting as a liaison and nothing more.
Mhm.
If it got us through the
Mhm.
door quicker, then it got us through the door quicker. What are you trying to imply here, Petra?
Nothing at all. I was just pointing it out.
Well, If you would like to point those out, I'm sure there are plenty of things that we could point out about your conversation with Davith earlier.
It wasn't much of a conversation. Thank you all, by the way. All of you. And I look at Theo, too.
It was rather soft of us, wasn't it?
Yeah. Better be careful. They might think we like each other or something.
I'd be worried if that was the reputation getting out. I wouldn't want people to think that I want to be here.
Mm.
With that, I think we should consider that maybe these things are in the walls. So Vetra, if you have any sort of instinctual feeling to take your shield and bash through them at all, I think you should follow that as much as you can.
Noted. And I will actually get my shield on one arm and pull out my sword and be ready.
And Dull, as you reach the door, it is locked.
Oh, well, damn. You know what? And I'll reach into my bag off the side there. And I will bring out this sort of like water skin. And he says, I have just the thing for the occasion. I open the water skin and I reach my hand inside. And then I touch the hand and water skin to the door itself. And as I pull my hand free from the water skin, it adapts the same quality as the metal lock on the doorknob itself, basically becoming a metal hand. And I cast knock on the door to unlock it. Basically,
Cool.
He moves his hand in against it. It becomes one and the same as the doorknob itself. And then you can hear the tumblers click. And then his whole body wrenches back as the hand that is now part of the door will unlock it on the other side. And then it returns to normal.
And I'm pretty sure that knock is a very loud noise when you use it.
It is.
I'm pretty sure. Cool.
It is. It's audible from as far away as 300 feet.
Cool.
A loud knock.
You wrench this door open very easily. Kaboom! Knock sound. And as the door flies open, you see many things in this second landing. The first thing you see is that the room is divided in half by a metal gate and like a metal door. You're kind of like, if it's like diagonal wise, you're on you're on like the southwestern little corner, and then the northeastern corner is another door that seems to be leading up, and then sort of dividing in the middle of the room is that big gate. On your side of the room, there seems to be a bunch of those goopy orbs just stacked all over. There's like, I don't know, about 50 of them just in these weird little piles. And there's also a bunch of those dragon bones just sort of lying around or in bags that have been fallen over in this room. Also, in that corner where you are, there is Dylan, who is tied up, sort of gagged, and on the other side of the room there is through this gate there's a bunch of sort of like hanging chains on the ceiling, and you see two figures. You see one that is a sort of looking hunched back creature that is hooded, and there is a sort of deep stalker that is holding a bag on its back, and they all sort of look over to this side of the room when this happens. But we're not rolling initiative. You see that they all kind of look over surprised, and you see the hunchback sort of like their face sort of turns over, and you can see that it looks like a dragonborn. But it looks more reptilian, more lizard-like than a normal dragonborn. Because like normal dragonborns is like mixed between maybe like a humanoid type of dragon type creature, but this looks more lizard-like. And you hear him say, "Well, I was wondering how long it was going to take you all to find me. Theta, I'm glad you're here." And he looks at you, Theo. So, what did it? Huh? What gave me away?
Excuse me? Can we pause, rewind, back up a little bit? Can we just go back up a little bit? What did you say my name was?
Oh, you don't know. Oh, you really don't know? Wow, that's fun. That's very fun. No, yeah, take them up. And
They
he
are
points
on
at
the other
deep,
side of this gate?
yeah,
Just
the
for
other side of this
clarification?
gate.
Okay.
And he like sort of gestures for the deep stalker that just sort of like and just sort of continues to go up the stairs, leaving this person in the room. And he's like, well, I guess there's a lot of questions that we all have, isn't there?
Without leaving this reptilian creature's eyes, like my eyes are locked. Theo reaches her hand into her bag of bones and she grabs one. I presume this is probably where we're gonna end, so I'll guess I'll roll for it next time. But her hand closes around one of the bones in her bag.
No, if you want to do something now, you can totally do something now. He's sort of like, it looks like he's kind of excited to see you all. He's like, I expected you to be here, Theta, and you, and he points at Vetra, but not the other two.
Vetra is stepping to make sure just that she's the closest one to this figure, but also is looking to see if there's a way to bypass this like gate, like if there's like a weak point that she can bust into to knock it down if she has to, just anything like that.
There is a door. I mean, it's shut. You don't know if it's locked or unlocked,
right.
But there is a door that is shut.
Okay.
He's just sort of continues to look at you all. He's like, so what gave me away, huh? What was it? It's not easy working with them. And he kind of looks up the stairs. Not as reliable as the master wanted them to be, but it's what we have.
Why did you say my name was? Did you say Theta?
Yeah, because that's your name. You don't remember.
What
you know what?
did
Actually, what? Who do you think you are? Go on.
I'm Theophania.
Oh, you think
My friends.
You're someone?
My friends call me Theo.
You have memories?
I'm a knight of Nemeria.
Oh. You think you're a person.
I remember a yew tree. I remember a black rose. I remember a battlefield. And I remember the person who saved me.
Well, that's fun. Well, I have a question for you all. Say you were pig farmers and one of your pigs got sick. What would you do? Would you help the pig? Would you kill it before it infected the rest? What'd you do? And he's just sort of like walking around, just sort of like touching these different chains, just kind of like not really paying attention to you all.
Your premise supposes that you're some kind of higher being, or that we consider ourselves to be, which is a crock of shit. So try again.
Oh, you're smart. You're smart. You saw right through it right away. But what happens if those pigs, they come into your house and they eat the farmers? And they keep eating them until there's no more farmers left. What do you do? Would you keep trying to help the pigs? Would you kill every last fucking one?
Your metaphor sucks. Just tell us what you're getting at.
And he pulls one of these chains, and you hear an explosion from below you in the first, down below in the room, and you start to smell smoke, and he's like, nice knowing ya! And he starts to run up the stairs, and that is where we're going to end the episode for today.
I'm not talking to you anymore.
Okay.